This show is part of the RetroZap.com podcast network.
And welcome, everybody, to episode 15 of the Animanicast.
Well, Sibs, I say we turn in. What do you want to turn into? I know. How about a bat? Or an elephant? Or a monkey? Don't look at me. He's your brother.
And welcome to the Animanicast. We are a podcast that is dedicated to the television cartoon show, the Animaniacs. Each and every episode, we sit down and we discuss a new episode in the order in which they were released. And we talk about all the gags and all the references and all our memories from watching it when we watched it when we were kids and what we think about it right now. We sometimes go off on a few tangents as well, and this episode I think we might as well because there are a few cool things going on in it. Joining me, as always, is my brother Nathan.
And I have a new catchphrase.
What is it?
That was it.
Oh. And across the country is Kelly.
Hello.
See, you should just go with Kelly's catchphrase right there,
Hello?
Nathan.
No, I gotta change it up. Every week.
All right, there we go. So, today we are discussing episode 15 of the Animaniacs, which has two different segments, Space Probed and Battle for the Planet. And Nathan, when did this episode first premiere?
October 1st, 1993.
Ah, yes, I remember it well. Not really, but
Yeah.
whatever. But I do remember this episode, actually, quite well. It's a lot of fun. What do you guys think? Kelly, if you were to describe this episode in just a few words to somebody, what would you say?
They mention Yoda a lot.
And Nathan, what would you say?
Sci-fi spectacular.
Ooh,
I don't know.
those are good descriptions. So this episode, like Kelly said, it does have some really cool references, in particular to Yoda and Star Wars and Star Trek and aliens and various things.
Jetsons
and the Jetsons. Basically, this particular cartoon was pretty cool because it had a whole theme to it continuously through. Even though the cartoons were different, the theme was the same, which was cool to see. It started off with Yakko out in space for the variant verse saying Andromeda Strainy.
Andromeda Strainy.
Now, Nathan, have you ever read or seen the Andromeda Strain?
Absolutely not. No, no, I haven't.
Kelly, have you?
Yes, of course.
Good, because
I've read everything by Michael Crichton.
Oh, good, yes. And is that because of Jurassic Park and Steven Spielberg?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes, Steven Spielberg and Michael Crichton had a big relationship going on over many, many years, right? I mean, it was. Did it start with Jurassic Park, or did it go on before that?
Yeah, I think their collaboration began with Jurassic Park, and then I know they collaborated to create ER.
Right.
That went on for many years.
Yes, and that was originally going to be a movie, I think, but then they went and they said, hey, let's actually rework this into a series, is what I always remember the story being. But, yeah.
That I'm not really sure about. But they worked on it together.
I could be completely wrong.
Long-running show.
Yes, I loved ER. I watched that show almost every week in the 90s. So, yeah, I, like you, went after, especially, I actually read Jurassic Park before the movie came out and was so pumped for it and was like, oh my gosh, they're going to show, like, Nedry getting disemboweled and everything.
Yeah, they could show that.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, they didn't. Oh, okay, well, and because of that, I was kind of like, I hate to say this, but when the Jurassic Park is a fantastic movie, it really is. But I actually do remember leaving Jurassic Park the first time.
Wait! Did you just say that a Spielberg movie was a fantastic movie, and then followed it with the words "but"?
Yeah, well, I was.
Oh no,
Okay.
you
He
didn't.
was disappointed.
No. I wasn't disappointed. I was, you know, that feeling whenever you go to see a movie that's been adapted from a book, and you're like, oh, they should have put this part in, and they should have put that part in, and so on and so forth. I kind of was like, oh, they didn't put the pterodactyls in, and you know, they didn't put that part in the movie where the Tyrannosaurus Rex uses his tongue and wraps it around Tim's face and stuff. And little did I know, of course, they would, you know, work that stuff into the Lost World and stuff like that, so it would all work out. But I did work. Oh, another jet's going by.
Taking a plane break.
Okay. So, but I left the film just wanting more, which I guess is. So I wasn't disappointed. I just wanted a little bit more. So I guess that's it. Taking a plane break.
Yeah, it's still going.
So yes, I did. Let's go back to all this. The whole thing of talking about Jurassic Park was, so I, like you, Kelly,
Strain.
I went back and I read the Andromeda Strain, and I saw the movie, and I tried to read every Michael Crichton book that I could, and Andromeda Strain was definitely one of those. I really did like the book. It's a good book. The movie from the 70s is okay. All I remember from the movie was that they cut open somebody's hand, and then like dust of blood comes out of his hand or something like that. That's all I remember from the movie. So there you go. There you go. So that's the Andromeda Strain.
Yeah, I never saw it, but
Well, let's move on to our first segment.
well, there's also the cold open.
Oh, let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Because this is actually kind of a cool intro. We have yet another tower escape, I guess you could call it, right? Mm-hmm. And in this, we have the 1812 Overture playing, and the Warners escape the tower by jumping into a cannon, and they get projected out, boom, and they land safely, and they go out the door. This, they were dressed up like Evel Knievel. Like, they got into their little stuntman outfits and everything, which looked pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And to me...
Yeah, they lighted with a torch or whatever.
Yeah.
Hand torch. What is that? I can't remember.
Well, the 1812 Overture usually actually has live cannons when they perform this sometimes in front of a live crowd. So that's the use of cannons, and music makes sense right there. To me, when I heard the music and I saw them jumping into the cannon, the first thing I thought of was actually Gonzo from the Muppets, actually. Mm-hmm. Because to me, it just felt like Muppets 3D or something, like, cannons being shot off and the music. I love it.
Good evening, culture lovers. Tonight, for your musical entertainment, I bring you a team of well-trained artillery shells, the refined young cannonballs. Camilla! Music, please!
Anyway.
I'm disappointed that didn't occur to me.
I know.
Now I'm sad.
I know. Well,
What kind of Muppet fan am I?
I know. Seriously, come on. The amazing Gonzo, good guy. Well, let's talk about Space Probed. Now we can get to the first segment. Space Probed was written by John P. McCann, and it was directed by Gary Hartle, Dave Marshall, and Rich Ahrens. Kelly, what would you basically tell us? What's the synopsis here of Space Probed?
Okay, well, the Warner trio is they're staying in a cabin in the woods, which if you watch movies or know anything about horror, then that alone is already setting the tone for, something's bad's going to happen. And they are abducted by an alien ship, and they make a new best friend who is an alien, and he wants to do experiments on them, and the running gag is that they keep calling him Yoda. which
Yes.
of course I love. I think it's the greatest thing. They even speak to him in Japanese and call him Yoda.
Yes.
And he speaks some alien language, so they keep reading the subtitles and moving words around to change what he's saying, and I think that was really funny. And there's several cameos in the episode, and they're running around the ship and causing chaos, and they ultimately meet the big alien guy who happens to be a gigantic toe. And
Yes.
it's weird and a little creepy.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
But then, of course, in the end, they are returned to planet Earth, and because I guess the aliens just couldn't take it anymore. The Warners took over the ship. Like, the Warners were going to drive back home, but at the end, it really felt like they got kicked out of the
Yeah.
ship.
And they're like, we'll never see those guys again. Yeah.
So, and of course, but the Supreme, what were they called? The Supreme One.
Yeah.
He was
Toe.
the Supreme One, is there in their cabin, asking to buff his cuticles or something like that.
Yeah.
And they all go ew, and it's gross. So yes, a very funny cartoon, and like Kelly said, kind of weird. That toe thing was. It's for something that we see every day. Boy, that toe is kind of disgusting.
Yeah, it's a little disturbing. And
It really
And
is.
he wanted a Q-tip, and I was like, for what?
And bring me a Q-tip.
Yeah, I know. I never cleaned my toes with a Q-tip.
yeah.
I
mean, you're not supposed to clean your ears with Q-tips.
Oh, that's
so-
because you're supposed to clean your toes.
Well,
That's
I
apparently
guess.
why.
I don't know what you're supposed to use a Q-tip for.
Maybe he had nail polish on and he was removing it
That's
with
probably
nail polish
it.
remover with a Q-tip.
That makes sense.
With a giant Q-tip? I don't know. Who knows?
It was
These are
probably
the
a regular
mysteries.
size Q-tip and just take a long time.
Oh, let's reboot Animaniacs and get...
Just so we can get these answers.
These answers. Remember this? Okay. So, what are your favorite moments of this? Kelly, let's start with you. You mentioned Yoda.
Yes.
Let's talk real quick about Yoda, because of
Oh,
course,
yes, please, let's do that.
Okay. Before we get into this, now your Twitter handle is Yoda Princess, at Yoda
That's
Princess, and I happen to know you love Yoda and you have a Yoda collection and things like that, right?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that. What do you, when it comes to Yoda, what do you like about Yoda, and why does that character stand out for you from Star Wars?
Well, I just always liked his lines the best. I found after I got kind of back into Star Wars when I was a teenager, I would go around quoting Yoda all the time, and I've always been, I guess, attracted to the wise sort of mentor figures, because I grew up a big fan of the Karate Kid and loved Mr. Miyagi. And also Splinter in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes.
So I guess I have an affinity for that kind of character. And then also Yoda's very small but powerful, and I'm a very petite person. I basically stopped growing at the age of 12, so I'm short and thin and everything. And I like the fact that he didn't have a strong physical presence, but he had wisdom, he had the Force, and he could get things done. And he played that trick on Luke, and he had him fooled that he wasn't this great Jedi warrior, because Luke was looking for something a little different than what he found. And I liked that aspect of it as well.
Yes. So, how much Yoda stuff do you have? Like, what's your...
Well, I have 2 life.
You have 2 life-size
And
Yodas?
a lot of my stuff is still in boxes because I moved it around, but I probably I don't know, it's in the hundreds of different pieces. I acquired 2 more just as gifts from people this weekend, and some of them are duplicates, but I've gone back to try to acquire some vintage stuff. I don't like to pay too much for it, so but if I can find something on eBay, I'll grab it. And then almost anything new that comes out, and then of course people give me Yoda stuff all the time.
That's good. You're collecting. Yeah. You're doing a good job of collecting stuff for Star Wars, because there's so much out there that some people try in vain to collect every single thing, and you just can't do that. You can't do that. Maybe you could have done that if Star Wars stopped doing stuff in by 1990. Maybe you could get everything. But
and I used to collect everything, and then I realized no, you don't have room for it. You don't have money for it. Find a focus.
Yes, exactly.
And so it was easy once I figured out that I was going to narrow down my collection.
Excellent. So
smart.
So now we know what to get Kelly for Christmas. Everybody, get those.
Yes.
Get the Yoda, whatever it is. Duplicates are fine.
That is fine.
Okay. Well, fantastic. So we already know right away this cartoon stands out because of that mentioning for Yoda. I gotta say, I showed this cartoon just today as a social experiment. Mm-hmm. I decided at lunch today when kids were, I'm the librarian at my school, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to put on Animaniacs today. We have a little a flat screen in the corner, and I wasn't going to call attention to it. But as kids came in to kind of just play games and talk at lunchtime, I said, I'm just going to put on Animaniacs and see if people pay attention to it. And kids, sure enough, were definitely paying attention to this first segment. And they were chuckling and laughing when they called him Yoda. So that made me smile, seeing that. Okay, good. They think that's funny too. So excellent.
Yoda! Did you miss me?
Nathan, what do you think? What stands out for this segment, right, Joe, for you?
Oh, I just loved all the when they get into their separate shenanigans between Yakko, Wacko, and Dot. Like they break off and
each one of them has a separate little thing to do. Yeah. So let's go through those. So Yakko, he goes off and
playing tag, basically
playing tag with three kind of underling aliens. Yeah. It's almost like he treats them like the Three Stooges at one point, doing like looking in. I'm looking in something.
Yeah, I got something.
And they're actually playing Three Blind Mice right there, which is the theme song to the Three Stooges.
Tag, you're it.
And he finds like Elvis and Amelia Earhart and
Bigfoot
and Jimmy Hoffa, I believe, all in this room because, of course,
they were all abducted by aliens.
They're all abducted by aliens.
That's why we can't find any of them.
Very kind of similar to the idea of a little bit like Close Encounters, I guess, right? I mean, it's
Sorry.
There you go. But it's kind of the ship itself. I'm going all over the place, but that's okay. The ship itself kind of looked like. Did it look like a Close Encounter ship a little bit, or it kind of looked like this is what it looked like to me, a simplified version of E.T.'s mothership or whatever. You recall?
Yeah, I'd go more that than Close Encounters.
Yeah, because Close Encounters, it kind of split up and it was wider, and later in Batteries Not Included, they had like kind of miniature versions of those ships, I think, flying around. But in fact, even at the very end, when it streaks and flies away after it dumps off the Warners, it even arches across the sky very quickly, kind of similar to how E.T. ship flies away. There's no rainbow or anything, but it still kind of arches away real quick. So, yeah, the idea of like abducting people and in keeping them is kind of similar to Close Encounters, right there, right? Yeah. So
yeah,
sure. And so let's go back to this. So Yakko is running around playing tag, and he meets the toe, and he gets one wish.
Yeah.
You please me, sub-creature. I choose to grant you one wish. Think, and it will be done.
Hello, nurse.
So Hello Nurse comes there in a sexy space outfit or something. Yeah. He chases her out.
He just wants Hello Nurse, just to chase her. Like,
didn't he ask he wanted a kiss or something?
I guess. Well, like if he really wanted that, though, he could have wished for that too, right?
I guess. Maybe it's like the genie. Like you can't make someone fall in love with you. Or
Yeah,
something.
that's it.
So that the toe can't do that.
That's where Aladdin got it from this.
Yes. It's all stolen from that. And then Dot goes off. Dot does a few things.
Yeah, Dot first meets the alien from Aliens, right?
Right.
Or, well, I guess Alien. 'Cause
Yeah.
it was a reference to the first Alien movie.
Right.
And then she shows it, her
Yes.
pet. I don't know if it was a boy or a girl.
And the pets get engaged. Well, they fall in love.
Yeah, they instantly fall in love and
They get engaged, and she just hopes she gets invited to the wedding. Mm-hmm. And then she gets picked up by the aliens and says...
They start scanning her brain, basically, to see what she thinks of.
Yes. So it's my thoughts. And, of course, she thinks about being famous. Mm-hmm. She thinks of Mel Gibson, and she melts. And...
She says, hello, nurse. Has she said hello, nurse, before? I can't remember.
She goes, hello, Mel, but I don't think she's said hello, nurse. I don't know. Mel Gibson's been on this
she's
a few times.
This is not her first time fantasizing or trying to...
No.
But yes, so then the aliens try it. Oh, she pops it on their head.
Yeah, she puts it on their head, yeah.
And they start seeing their thoughts. So they start seeing... It was a very cute little thing. See, I like when they pop it on the head and then... They imagine what it would be like to yell at the boss alien.
Yeah.
And they all the aliens just kind of look up and go, that would be nice. And, of course, they see, like, this... And then they...
Hippo alien.
A hippo alien mermaid thing.
Yeah.
And then they go, hello, nurse.
Yeah.
And start clapping or... They're...
Yeah, hitting their
chests. And stuff. Well, then Wacko, of course, goes off on his own little thing, which he gets like tested.
Yeah,
to see if he's going to be like physically fit or something.
Yeah, I guess just put him on one of those running tracks from the Jetson, basically.
Yeah.
Use your lower appendages. What's an appendage?
And so they do this whole Jetsons gag, including like the secretary alien who could be seen in the other thing, looks like Jane Jetson.
Yeah, he walks right in a waiting room when right through a waiting room. There's Darth Vader, there's Marvin the Martian, and the Star Trek
Jean-Luc Picard.
Yeah, Picard. There we go.
It looks like he walked through the Dragon Con.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So
Kelly is fresh from Dragon Con, so this definitely does. I mean, hey, what an episode to kind of come down from Dragon Con than watching this. It's just kind of like, okay. It's like
Chewie, we're home.
Yes. So the whole Jetsons gag was funny. I'm a little disappointed that kids today don't really know the Jetsons that much. I think that joke would be lost on a lot of them. There's also references to Betty Rubble as well. So we have Flintstones jokes as well. So Flintstones, Jetsons.
There's also a Pinky and the Brain cameo.
That's right. Yeah,
Pinky
and the Brain are in
Dot
it.
gets taken right past Pinky and the Brain when she's going to get her brain scanned.
And I love the music in this. Just how the music it transitions right into their. Whenever you see Pinky and the Brain cameoing, the music does very often just transitions right into their theme and then right out of it, just perfectly. So even if you, like in my case, I happened to be looking down at the time, and I heard their theme song, and I poked my head up like, what? And I was like, Pinky and the Brain. So that's cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
And Pinky's holding up a sign that says "Send help."
Yes.
So I guess they've been abducted and are going to be experimented on too.
They need help quick too.
They should be used to that. They're lab rats. They should be used to that. It's not a big deal. Let's see here. What else do we have here?
There was also a reference, basically, the Bugs Bunny, when Bugs Bunny meets the monster.
Oh,
like that whole, doing his nail.
Yeah, I could see that because there's this whole thing of Yakko kind of doing a manicure on the toe. Mm-hmm. It is very similar to when Bugs Bunny did.
Oh, it's so nice meeting interesting people.
Interesting people.
Oh, for shame! Just look at your fingernails. My, I'll bet you monsters lead interesting lives. I said to my girlfriend just the other day, gee, I'll bet monsters are interesting, I said. The places you must go and the things you must see, my stars. And I'll bet you meet a lot of interesting people, too. I'm always interested in meeting interesting people.
In 1,000,000 years, you will look like me.
But darling, if I look like you, then what will you look like? Maybe you'll look like me. But then you'll have to live in a water tower in Burbank. Oh, try that for 1,000,000 years.
Yes. It's very, very similar in the way that they're talking, kind of gabbing about just doing manicures and stuff like that. So, yes, Bugs Bunny and Yakko have a very kind of similar repertoire for their significant monsters.
Yeah, exactly. So
I happened to take a look and see what contraptions. There's that part right at the beginning before they escape that they're going to do, like, examine their bodies.
Oh, yeah.
Inspect their bodies. Excuse me?
Which, excuse me, was, I think, definitely something more of in the 90s than today.
And Jar Jar.
I was going to say, the last time I heard somebody say it was probably Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Which was 1999.
Okay, so
excuse me has not been said that much in the popular conscious since 1999.
Because of Jar Jar Binks.
Because of Jar Jar. No, yes. I remember Garth from Wayne's World saying it, or no, it would be Wayne. I think.
Yeah, Wayne
would say it quite a bit from Wayne's World, and then no one said it for a while, and then I remember seeing The Phantom Menace and hearing Jar Jar say it. Jar Jar haters bring that up as a line that they hate.
Yeah, but it was a 90s line. But I think Jar Jar might be part of the reason why no one says it, because people are like, "Oh, I don't want to be referencing Jar Jar." But
I'm just going to say it more.
Start saying it more.
Well, anyway, excuse me. I love Jar Jar.
More you say?
More did you say? Anyway,
I'm just gonna avoid contributing this conversation. I love Star Wars.
Period.
Period.
Okay, never mind. I just think, I'm like Brian Young. I think that Jar Jar has been bullied enough, and I think we need to lay off that poor Gungan. I think he's been through enough.
Well, that's why I'm not picking on him. I like the prequels. I mean, hello, they've got Yoda in them with fight scenes, and the music is amazing. But there are things I didn't love about the prequel.
Okay, well, excuse me, everybody. I got to move on here. So, so the contraption, just a real fast thing. Well, I was going to make it a fast thing, but anyway, when the thing's about to lower down on them to get examined, I was like, what kind of tools are on that right there? Because there's a buzzsaw, like actual, like, scary thing. But I looked closer. There's toilet paper on there. There's like a vacuum hose and like a water hose, an egg beater, and a toothbrush, and I think a syringe. So there are like at least 2 dangerous things out there, and then a few other things that are just like random silly things. I just liked seeing how what
an alien would use.
Well, yeah, it was kind of like it was just nice. It was very cartoony and silly. It was cute. It was just one of those little details that if it was anything else, it would just be nothing but sharp objects and kind of scary looking. But I liked how they kind of made it look very. It was very Looney Tune-ish, like that, which was cool to see. What other kinds of things? Because we talk quite a bit about a lot of these different things. Anything else that stands out?
In the beginning, Wacko changes into a bunch of different animals.
Yes,
and
he does.
Dreams he's a dog, which is another clue. Maybe he's a dog.
You know what? Yeah, I thought about that too. I said, Wacko, if you're not gonna, if you guys are saying you're not dogs, then you better stop acting like them.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't change into a dog, which I thought would be one of his, like, what do we want to turn into? A dog? Like,
I'm telling you.
It's like a monkey or an elephant.
There's something subconsciously going on that it's showing that he's a dog, I think. Because they're wagging their tails, they're doing stuff. I'm telling you, I think they're actually dogs. But
plenty of evidence for it now. So.
Dot yells at the light right there, turn off that light.
Turn on that light! It attracts insects.
Which is something they would say a lot in the old Looney Tunes cartoons. A lot. Bugs Bunny would yell at all those different things. I had no idea why they would say it watching those cartoons. But that was for air raid drills in the 40s. The whole idea, Kelly, you know this from 1941, right? With
yes.
just the case of if the Japanese came over, you want to make sure you turn off all of your lights and so that the Japanese wouldn't know where to bomb. So that's why they say turn off that light, and they would have actual air raid wardens go out into the neighborhoods and yell at people, I suppose, or at least they did in the Looney Tunes cartoons.
Yeah.
So turn off that light was from that. Yakko going and pulling down the blinds right there and mumbling to himself about,
That's ridiculous. How am I supposed to get any sleep? This guy barking like a dog all night. Give me a break. I'm just...
Yeah, these dogs and barking. Yeah.
It felt like another cartoon right there, too. To me, almost like there's this Donald Duck cartoon where Donald Duck is kind of mumbling to himself. Like it's when he's trying to get to sleep. I don't know. Little cute, similar things, if not direct references. It just felt familiar, and it was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know. Any other last things that we want to talk about before we move on to segment 2? All right. Well, let's move right ahead then to segment 2. Space sound effect. Whoosh.
Pew, pew.
Wow.
I don't know what the last noise was.
I don't know either. So our next segment is Battle for the Planet, which was written by Mr. Peter Hastings and directed by Alfred Jimeno. Or Jimeno. We got to find out the pronunciation of him. I'm just going to say Alfred G. So, Nathan, what happens in Battle for the Planet?
So we have yet another Pinky in the Brain episode. Woohoo! And in this one, Brain wants to basically convince everyone to leave their houses. So he uses the classic War of the Worlds idea, but this time he's going to use television. So he's going to scare everyone with an alien invasion, but and ends up just being so hysterical that everyone just finds it hysterical, I guess.
So it backfires on them once again.
Yeah, no one wants to leave their house because it says stay in for this one, folks. And it's the complete opposite of what he wanted. I
get it now. I actually, I don't know why I missed that. Seriously. The brain says it and everything. Oh, well. I never said I was a smart person. But anyway. So this was a cute Pinky in the Brain thing. Kelly, what did you particularly like of this second segment here, Battle for the Planet?
I just thought it was funny overall, and the Pinky doing all the sound effects and the scenery and everything, trying to recreate this War of the Worlds on TV, and of course being normal Pinky and everything going to chaos.
Yes. Yeah, nothing works. Although I gotta tell you, even despite Pinky's messing things up with that bug fogger and everything, it wasn't his fault.
Yeah, I mean that might have been what made it. I didn't know what made it funny because everyone seemed really scared until. That's true. So it might have been the bug fogging and him crashing into the camera that people found funny.
Oh, you know what? I guess you're right, because they actually did seem like when they listened to the brain.
Yeah,
they seemed so. I guess it was.
I think Pinky just took it one step too far, and
yeah, because the whole set. I don't know. That's a good question. They never really explained why people actually at the end thought it was funny, because when they're showing cuts to people throughout the whole thing, they genuinely look scared. Ralph the security guard was there.
He didn't even notice the Animaniacs running by him. He was so scared.
Yeah, and we had Elmira's parents and her brother were watching Family Matters.
Yeah,
with Urkel.
Steve Urkel, yeah.
For a split second, you could see Urkel on TV, and then it flashes over to... I was just thinking of the terrible Urkel impression.
The cheese.
You got any cheese?
Nailed it. Good enough. Next.
So yeah, they did. Anyway, Nathan? What do you think?
It was a lot of fun. I like the that they would reference, War of the Worlds and, having Brain do the...
Yeah, that was cool because the Brain, of course, being an homage to Orson Welles and the original Mercury Theater showing of War of the Worlds, of course, was with Orson Welles directing it. Have you ever listened to the original War of the Worlds, Nathan?
I've heard parts of it.
Have you ever listened to it, Kelly?
No.
I remember as a kid, they played it on NPR once, and I, put in my little cassette tape and I taped the thing.
Oh, cool!
And I listened to it over and over and over again. I loved War of the Worlds. In fact, I tried to make my own War of the Worlds as much as I could, like with my Fisher-Price tape recorder, to limited success. But I always liked War of the Worlds. There's a creepiness to that original recording. The biggest similarity between the two is probably when Brain is talking about the creature emerging from the ship, and he's saying, "Oh, I can hear it coming. Oh, it's terrible," and it's all this. That sounds very similar to the original recording, where the reporter is talking about that, and it's pretty dramatic in the original recording.
I am now positioned close to the... Well, I can only assume that this is a vehicle from outer space. Its occupants here to destroy the Earth. Wait, there is a strange noise emanating from inside. Something seems to be coming out of the ship. Oh my, it's hideous. Ladies and gentlemen, I can hardly describe this terrifying creature before me, except to say, run for your lives. Go on, empty the cities, leave everything behind.
We now return you to Carl Phillips at Grover's Mill. Ladies and gentlemen, here I am, back of a stone wall that adjoins Mr. Wilmer's garden. From here, I get a sweep of the whole scene. I'll give you every detail as long as I can talk and as long as I can see. More state police have arrived. They're drawing up a cordon in front of the pit. About 30 of them. No need to push the crowd back now. They're willing to keep their distance. The captain conferring with someone. Can't quite see who. Oh, yes, I believe it's Professor Pearson. Yes, it is. Now they've parted, and the professor moves around one side, studying the object while the captain and two policemen advance with something in their hands. I can see it now. It's a white handkerchief tied to a pole. Flag of truce. If those creatures know what that means, what anything means. Wait a minute, something's happening. Humped shape is rising out of the pit. I can make out a small beam of light against a mirror. What's that? There's a jet of flame springing from the mirror and it leaps right at the advancing men. It strikes them head on. Lord, they're turning into flames. Oh, the whole field's caught up by the woods, the barns, the gas tanks of the automobiles are spreading everywhere. It's coming this way now, about 20 yards to my right. Ladies and gentlemen, due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to continue the broadcast from Grover's Mill. Evidently, there's some difficulty with...
Is this... I've never seen the Spielberg film, by the way, Kelly, of War of the Worlds.
No, I didn't like it.
Uh-oh.
Well, it had nothing to do with the broadcast.
That's
really.
True. That's it's
it was
more
based on a book.
The H.G. Wells book, right?
Mm-hmm.
More than the actual thing. So, but
no, it's good. It's naturally it's good. It's Spielberg.
It's Spielberg, but there's like so many plot holes in it that I was just like,
okay, we got a thumbs up and a thumbs down. I'm sitting in the middle. I don't know. I actually did see. My exposure to the movie War of the Worlds is very limited. We went to Disneyland and we went back to the hotel to try to get like a little bit of sleep since I had just driven there overnight. And my brother-in-law just kept turning on the TV when I'm trying to sleep, and War of the Worlds was on, and he did not turn it down at all. So here I am exhausted and just flashing lights and Tom Cruise yelling, and that's my exposure to War of the Worlds.
See, so you don't like it either.
Yes. The experience I've had with War of the Worlds I did not like.
See?
So there you go.
I
Two
don't
against
know
one.
people anymore.
But no, hey, I'm actually gonna check it out, and unfiltered by my past experience that I'm sure I'll enjoy quite a bit. I'm sure I will.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the Brain when he was in the helicopter and just pounding on his chest.
Yeah,
I thought that was just so funny.
We had 2 thumping chest things going on this episode.
Pinky and the Brain were in both, and there was thumb chesting in both.
And Aliens.
Chopper 5 high above the city. The horrible creatures from Mars invading, destroying everything in their path. Oh, the humanity.
And so, maybe, I don't know what's going on there, but it was a cool thing going on there. And of course he said, I mean, there's not too many other references than, hey, listen to the original broadcast. It's a cool thing. It didn't work. I like how the Brain was so sure that everyone was just going to leave the city that we have to go to the White House now. Like, even the president left the White House. Even the president is so scared.
Like, where are they going?
I don't know where they're going. Out into the fields? I don't know where these people
just
are
run
supposed
outside and just keep running.
Yeah, keep going, people. Just keep going.
Pick a direction.
And then he'll go into the White House and take over, because he'll just be there and
but
say...
like, no one's going to be in their homes, so like, who's he going to...
Who's going to lead?
Who's going to listen to him?
You know, the Brain, as smart as the Brain is for some things, he doesn't think through his plan. He really needed a partner who would say, okay, great, so we scare them. Now what?
Yeah, like...
But for a quick 7-minute cartoon where this is like, we just need to scare them, and then I'll take over.
Yeah, it was missing a middle step. It's like the gnomes in South Park. I don't know if you ever saw that. It's like, steal all the underwear or the socks, and then profit.
I don't get it. You see, phase 1, collect underpants. Phase 2, phase 3, profit. Oh, I get it.
So, overall, though, it's a cute. I like Pinky and the Brain, and whenever we get to see him, it's always good. Well, let's get right over to our stinger, and let's get right over to our water tower rating. The stinger at the end, nothing that much to talk about because we've seen it a million times before. It is Goodbye, Nurse. And before we say goodbye, Nurse, and everything like that, let's get to a few more things. First of all, our water tower rating. Woo. Nathan, let's go with you first. What do you think? What would you say out of 5 water towers? How many water towers would this episode get?
Oh boy, I'm gonna say, I'll say 4 water towers.
Okay, why is that?
I enjoyed both segments. I don't think it was my favorite Pinky and the Brain segment, but I mean, it was still great. You know, still very fun. And the first segment was also a lot of fun. Can't think of anything to complain about on either of them. And it was just really good.
Really good. Okay, and Kelly, what about you?
I'll give it 4 as well.
All right.
I thought both segments were really strong. I liked that they were sort of tied together with a space alien theme. And all the Yoda mentions.
Yes.
So bonus points for that.
It would have got a 4.5 if Pinky and the Brain said Yoda one time. I'm sure it would have gotten up to 4.5.
that may have pushed them up a little bit more.
Okay, well, just to keep that in note, writers, in case you ever have a reboot of either of those. So, and I'll give it 4 as well. So we got a nice solid 4 water tower rating. Is this the first time we've all given it the same one?
I think it may have happened once.
It may have happened once before, but this is probably our highest.
Yes, our highest
strong
consensus.
Yes, so there we go. So a nice strong 4 for all the reasons you guys were mentioning. I love sci-fi. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, and I don't know. I just like this. The references to the genre of sci-fi in general was really cool and a lot of fun. The Pinky and the Brain segment, not as strong as some future Pinky and the Brain ones will be. I'm still waiting for Bubba Bo Bob Brain to come up, and I can't wait for that Pinky and the Brain. But good overall. So let's go ahead and before we get to our Twitter results and everything, we've been leaving out something.
And we've gotten many angry Facebook comments and Twitter, and we've just been ignoring them.
No, we've gotten some suggestions from some listeners, from people that have actually been asking us. We've been forgetting one reference at the very end of the show. At the end of the show, every episode, there's Catherine Page. And there's a joke gag for Catherine Page. Catherine Page was an assistant to the show creator, Tom Ruger. And every episode, at least in the first 2 seasons, I believe, she had a joke credit at the end. And usually they're just like quick little gags. You know, like you were this, the animal wrangler or whatever.
Yeah, it's a new job, basically.
Yeah, this was her job this episode. And it's cute, and that's pretty much it. So we haven't been mentioning them just because, honestly, by themselves, they're more like a, that's cute. I remember as a kid, I gotta admit, I do remember pausing and seeing what she was. I remember seeing that fake joke right there and just seeing what she would be today. And I think as a kid, I thought it was pretty funny just because here's these adults putting in a joke gag into the credits. Do you ever remember seeing those, Kelly, as a kid?
No.
No? Okay.
Well, it was so long ago when the show aired. Well, obviously I don't remember it. I may have noticed it, but I don't remember seeing them.
Okay, well, we're going to go off a list of the first 15, and I think what we'll do is every 15 episodes, we'll kind of go list these off, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to read these off. Okay? And Nathan, you will do a sound effect or some sort of something that encapsulates that, because my initial thought was, I'll find a sound effect for each one of these, and then I'll play it after I say it. But Nathan, that takes a lot of work on my part.
Yeah,
okay,
let's
in
just
the post-production. So
put me on the spot.
Exactly. So I figured let's just put Nathan on the spot instead, and that'll be easier for me and harder for him. So here we go. So I'm going to list these off, and Nathan, the first thing that comes to mind, so if I said like cat, you would say meow, right?
Ruff.
Right, exactly.
I'm ruining it.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
So, episode 1, Catherine Page was an animal handler. Episode 2, a lemming herder. Episode 3, a shark handler. Episode 4, a hamster.
I'm disappointed.
What does a shark make?
No.
Oh, I see.
Everyone knows. Come on.
Dun, dun, dun.
Thank you.
Dun,
Dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun, dun. Okay. Episode 4, a hamster trainer.
That's the sound of the wheel going around.
Oh, okay. Episode 5, a tightrope walker. Oh, no. Episode 6, a squirrel handler. Episode 7, a Jeep driver. Episode 8, a raccoon keeper. Episode 9, a monkey wrangler. How'd you get that monkey in here, Nathan?
I don't know.
Okay. Number 10, episode 10 was a pit bull trainer. Episode 11, Dallas Cowboy fan.
Yeehaw! Woohoo! Yippee-ki-yay! It's an actual cowboy.
Okay. Episode 12, a moose collar. Oh, there's more. Okay.
There's always two.
Oh, okay. There's always two there are. Number 13, episode 13, needs a vacation. Number 14, babysitter.
There's someone in the house. They're in the house. Thank you.
They're in the house.
That was me on the phone.
And okay. And number 15, this is going to be the hardest one, I think, for today's episode. Bobby's sister.
Hello? Hey. Yes, I'm Bobby's sister. I know, I'm Bobby, and you're my sister. Thank you.
Wow, that was very good, Nathan. Very
Thanks.
good job.
That was good.
That was interesting. That filled time. So thank you for that. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is Nathan. Agents out there, please. I'm Animanicast gets 10. The Animanicast gets 10% of all residuals from any voiceover work that Nathan gets because of that.
Yeah.
FYI. Okay, let's get right into the results from last week's poll.
And now for the results of last week's Twitter poll. Listeners were asked, which hashtag Animaniacs character from the Warner lot is your favorite? Hashtag Animanicast poll. 6% said security guard Ralph. 33% said hello nurse. And 61% said it was Dr. Scratch and Sniff. Oh, and by the way, 0% voted for Mr. Potts. So, Mr. Potts, you are fired, sir. Hasta luego. And now, off to the studio for this week's Twitter poll, which I'm sure is a fantastic one.
Okay, those are our results from our announcer.
Wow, I just love him. He's so great.
Yeah, right.
And I was surprised by those. So
interesting. Okay, so what do you guys think? So who is your favorite studio lot character? Is it Ralph, Scratch and Sniff, Hello Nurse, or Plots?
Well, I voted for Scratch and Sniff because he's just such a classic character. Him and I just feel like he really cares about the Animaniacs, but he also can't stand them. It's a fun...
Yeah. And Kelly, what about you?
I like Scratch and Sniff as well. I love his accent. He's so fun to listen to, and he's just a really great character for the Animaniacs to play off of.
Very cool. I gotta agree with you guys. Scratch and Sniff, he's awesome, and he kind of reminds me of like a little bit like if the Warners had like a dad. He's like the dad that loves them, but yet drives them nuts at the same time.
Yeah,
he's I always think about the episode when they're going to the fair to when they're getting in the car. The song "I'm Mad," which we'll eventually get to. I always love that one. So, Dr. Scratch and Sniff definitely wins for us. Well, let's get to our poll this week.
Oh boy!
Now we have a guy we hired. He was cheap. I got to be honest with you,
and amazing.
Okay, so here's the thing: we have an announcer. I don't know where he came from. I think he thinks he's in the 1930s or 40s or something like that. But he's been helping us out when we're not able to record, and he records the results.
He does great. So,
now we have some people on our audience who absolutely love our announcer.
Yes,
they love him.
Oh yes.
And then we have other people that are kind of like, I'd rather have anybody else in the world than that guy.
What?
He annoys me. That's what some people say, and I got to tell you, I kind of agree with him.
What?
That guy, well, I'm just saying the fact. I mean,
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Okay.
I'm okay, so this is what our poll is going to be, ladies and gentlemen. If you like the announcer, or you don't like the announcer, this poll is for you. We are going to ask you, should we keep the announcer?
Yes.
It's a very simple yes or no.
It's a simple yes.
It's a simple yes or no. No. Should we keep the announcer? What do you guys think? No, honestly, we'll keep him around if you want to keep him. If you don't, then we'll work on replacing him.
Think of his kids, Joey.
Well,
okay. No, all right, fine. Yeah, we'll leave it up to the listeners.
Yes, leave it up to the listeners. Who do you prefer?
I just can't believe you don't like him. That's all.
I don't like him, but hey, nothing personal against him. I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he just
he's really nice. You should, try spending some time with him.
I don't think I want to spend any time with that guy.
Okay, well, that's your problem.
Well, nothing against you, announcer. I'm sorry. Go ahead. So go to our poll to make your voice heard on this one. Should we keep our announcer or not? Yes or no? Go to twitter.com/Animanicast or just search on Twitter for hashtag Animanicast poll. And you should be able to find it pretty darn easily there. Mm-hmm. So there we go. Well, let's go before we wrap things up, let's get to a little bit of feedback right here. Listeners, if you would like to send us some feedback, you can do it in a few different ways. You can send us an email. You can send us a tweet. You can send us a little comment on Facebook. But our favorite way, we always love, is positive 5-star reviews on iTunes. Because that helps out the show become more visible to everyone else in the world, and they get to join the fun.
And it just makes us feel so good.
Yeah, it really does. So, Nathan, we have a new review on there, I believe, right?
Yeah, that's true.
So, could you share that with all of us, please?
Okay. This one was the latest one. It was called Great Animaniacs Companion. This was from Bond Servant for Jesus Christ. It says, I enjoy their discussions of each episode, their insight and facts that people may have not known about. I enjoy that this is coming from fans. I probably would have good times talking to these people outside of the show. Makes me have more reason to watch Animaniacs, which is great. I love it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much there for your positive comments. Appreciate that.
Servant for Jesus Christ.
There you go. Just rolls off the tongue. Very awesome. Thank you so much. And if you'd like to do the same, just head on over to iTunes. It's an easy thing to do. Some people ask me, how do I do it? And I say, here's how you Google something. And no, say it's pretty easy to do. You just go to iTunes reviews, and there you go. It was so easy that Nathan and I did it.
Yeah, we left after Googling it.
But it wasn't too hard once you figured that out. And you can also send us an email, which is animanicast@retrozap.com. Let's go into some contact information for our hosts. Kelly, how can people get in contact with you to say hi and great job on the show?
They can email me, Kelly, Kelly, @BigShinyRobot.com, or contact me on Twitter @YodaPrincess, YODAPRNCSS.
Very cool. And Nathan, what about you?
I am, of course, Jangoft. Jangoft at Twitter.
So it's no longer Django FT, it's Jangoft. Huh?
Yeah, it's always been Jangoft. I've just been trying to...
trying to make it sound cooler, huh? Mm-hmm. All right. So Jangoft at Jangoft. Okay. And you can also get in contact with the show, which is facebook.com/Animanicast, twitter.com/Animanicast. And of course, you can see a whole archive of all of our shows at retrozap.com/Animanicast, where you can look at all the different shows that we put up and relive a bunch of Animaniacs episodes. Guys, we're 15 episodes in already. Pretty amazing, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Good for us.
Yes, it is. So let's go ahead and talk real quick about the different RetroZap podcasts that we got here. If you're a Star Wars fan, we got those for you at retrozap.com. There's Starships, Sabers, and Scoundrels, the Trade Federation, Blob of the Hutt, and Brews and Blasters. If you're a fan of Star Wars and Disney, well, go check out Skywalk. Yeah, Skywalking Through Neverland is a great podcast for you then. And of course, if you're just into miscellaneous things, kind of like we are as well, if you like retro things like Star Wars and Tron and even discussions about cereal, check out Techno Retro Dads. If you're into movie discussions, go to the Deucecast, and video games, go to the ArgCast. Go ahead and check out all of those and more at retrozap.com. And we will see you here next week, ladies and gentlemen, for Chalkboard Bungle, Hooray for Slappy, and the Great Wakarati.
Wow. Yeah, it's going to be Miss Flameel's first appearance, right? Next week.
Yeah, Flameel. and with that, I'm Joey, and for... What's your name again? Nathan.
Yes.
And Kelly. Good night, everybody.
Night.
Good night.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds of the Animaniacs characters or any other Animaniacs-related items are registered trademarks and or copyrights of Warner Brothers, Amblin Entertainment, or their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
Would you mind doing my cuticles?